challenge.
On your radio at ESPN 105.9. The Zone. WRKS Pickens, Jackson.
You better lock the doors, turn up the radio, strap yourself in.
Because it's time for the Matt Wyatt Show. The guy who's the color commentator for Mississippi State football and SEC baseball. So yeah, he brings a lot to the game, and he's right here.
Right now.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Well, look at there, look at there, look at there. It's Friday. You made it. Hallelujah, hallelujah. You made it to Friday. So it kind of sort of already is the weekend. I know it's going to rain overnight in some places, so on and so forth, but it's sun shining right now, warming up. It was a little cool this morning. But we should have a full weekend of action. You know they say in baseball, right? Like some of the jargon in baseball is you're probably going to see some action right here. That's like hit and run, right? Like stealing a base, going to take off, put the runners in motions, maybe hit a little hit and run. Action. We ought to have some action this weekend to talk about when we come back on Monday, as some big baseball series, 1 or 2 got started last night in the SEC. We'll look at those results. And I got to see a little bit of the one, went to just a little bit of a few pitches anyway. A couple of innings worth of Ole Miss and LSU. Saw some of that. It was a beautiful night over there. I had to check on out and then listen to it on the radio as I did some traveling. And then, of course, tonight get to watch Game 1, weather permitting, get to watch Game 1 of Mississippi State at Vanderbilt up in Nashville. Bill and I were talking earlier about how, at least right now, models are showing that they should be able to get the games in. Most of the rain right now forecasted to be just, I guess, south of Nashville, but whatever rain they do get, they may have an advantage. They've got the all-turf, all-synthetic turf field, which, I don't know, I usually kind of roll my eyes at those for the most part, especially in baseball, but I get it. I certainly understand it, those that are multi-use and all that kind of stuff. But then times like these, maybe if you get some rain, maybe they drain better. I don't know. Better chance to get all the games in. But I guess the biggest thing right out of the chute here is for me to say, welcome to you. I appreciate you being here on this Friday. Long way to go with you, and we are live. So if you are tuning in, if you are listening, if you hear my voice, we are live on the radio. It means you can text me, you can call me, you can comment on the live stream, and that's some good ways for you to be a part of the show. I want to be able to hear what you think also. So you can be like Sven and drop me a comment on the live stream. He's on YouTube. He said it's a weekend and time for baseball. Hello, everybody. So hey to you, Sven. He went on to say, if we play like last Friday or Sunday, we'll win this series. If we play like Saturday, Vandy will shoot us to the moon and back. That's a good way to look at it. And I'm going to let you hear what Chris Lamonis said yesterday in a media Zoom gathering to preview the series, because he basically said that, you know, we look at stats, we look at matchups, you know, their Friday night guy and what they do and how they hit and how we hit and who's hot and who's not. And really what it comes down to is in that 9-inning span, you just have to play good. And I thought, yeah, that's perfect, because it sounds like oversimplifying it, but it's really not. You know, that's why in baseball you'll have a team that's not very good that'll run in there and beat somebody who is very good. You know, Georgia this year has been a very average team. Couple of weekends ago, they went and took 2 out of 3 from Vanderbilt in Nashville, including on Friday night against Kumar Rocker. They hit 300 home runs off of him. They still struck out 12 times against him, but they hit 3 home runs. You get the extra base hits, put the runs on the board, get into their bullpen. At the back end of that game, they hit 4 home runs against their bullpen, 7 home runs in one game. And it's why in baseball, so a lot of times, you have a team that's very average or not very good, beat somebody who is very good or above average, is because within that 9-inning frame, you just play good. Things go the right way for you. So you have to have some of that. And the timely hitting. And I think that's the other thing, too, as we start to preview and, point to how can State go there and win a couple of games. How could they pull it off? Well, one thing is continue the timely hitting. And they didn't just pile up double-digit hits in those ball games last weekend. I guess the Sunday game, maybe they had double-digit hits, 12 hits. But in the win on Friday, they didn't have double-digit hits. It's just they had the key hits at the right time. And I read you those stats earlier in the week, how in the Ole Miss series, for instance, Mississippi State was much better than Ole Miss with runners in scoring position, in advancement opportunities to move guys up, with runners at third base and less than 2 outs. State was really clutch in those situations. Well, you come out of the weekend, you won 2 out of 3. So that's usually how it adds up. And I think it's not a coach oversimplifying it or trying to downplay it. He's just saying, I tell our guys, they are what they are. We are what we are. If you want to win, you just have to play good. and we can do all the talking we want to, but when we roll the ball out there, you just got to play better than them. So I'll let you hear that. Also, let's right off the bat here, let's do this. By the way, Nick on the live stream giving us a happy Maroon Friday. Well, back at you, Nick. Back at you. Y'all text me today on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. I have plans. Before I read this text, I have plans tonight. Bill, do you know what they involve?
What do they involve there, Matt?
3 things. Number 1, baseball. Number 2, a fire outside. And number 3, sausage cooked over that fire outside.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That ain't bad. That ain't a bad idea, is it?
Get the old fire pit going.
Yeah. Especially when it's cool like this.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I'll be watching baseball out there.
And what kind of sausage would that be?
It'll be the Country Pleasin'. I believe I'll go with Country Pleasin', please.
Oh, okay. Please.
Yeah. No, I had a package, an unopened package of the pineapple and jalapeno flavored. I had it in the freezer, so I put it in there overnight, let it thaw, and that's what I'm going to cook over that fire this evening as I watch a little baseball out there. So, okay, let me just put that thought to the side because I don't want to get ahead and wish the show away, all right? and in between then, Bill, you'd be proud of me. I have an appointment to go help one of my neighbors. She's an older woman. She lives by herself, and she needs help connecting her phone to her tablet, iPad to her computer, all 3. She's got these things, but I guess probably what I'm going to find when I get there is she probably doesn't have like an iTunes account or something set up, or maybe she does, because that's the best way to sync 3 things together. I just don't know what I'm walking into. I don't know if I'm going in and it's going to be a Windows computer and a iPad and an iPhone.
Have an old version on there or something.
Yeah, that's so it's a little scary because I'm not the IT guy, but I am technically savvy on most of that kind of stuff. I'm just going to try to help her. So that'll be some afternoon plans also. All right, let me get back on track. I got a text here on the Country Pleasin' text line. Y'all text me. We're live. It's 885 ESPN 601 number 885 ESPN. Somebody said, I am so sorry. I didn't realize that Ole Miss and LSU began last night. Please let me know the score, either on the air or in the text. Let me know. This is someone who had no idea that Ole Miss and LSU actually started last night. Okay, LSU won the first game last night. 5-4 was the final. And it was one of the, I saw the early innings before I left the game last night. And right out of the chute, Derek Diamond got the start for Ole Miss because, and this could potentially be a big deal, it may not, but it could be, Gunnar Hoagland, their Friday night starter, the former first-round pick out of high school, missed his scheduled start last night because of some tightness, arm tightness, they said, in kind of his bicep area as he was getting loose. And so they decided, because of who he is and how important he is to them, but also for his own benefit, to not push it, not run him out there to throw against LSU. So they had to make a change last minute. And that meant keeping Doug Nikhazy, their Saturday starter, on his normal schedule. So he's going to pitch today. I say Saturday. In game 2, he's going to pitch today. try to keep it as normal as possible. It being a Thursday night game, they brought the former starter who had started some Sunday games for them this year, game threes, didn't start last week against State, came in relief, I think, in the first game last week, so only pitched a few innings last week. Derek Diamond was the starter last night for Ole Miss. And the thing is, he was good, and his defense didn't really help him out. Now, they put up 3 runs on him in the 6 innings that he pitched, but he only gave up 4 hits, and only one of those runs that Derek Diamond allowed last night was earned, and that's because there were some errors behind him in that top of the first inning. I mean, they had, what was it, 1 run or 2 runs in that first one? Let me see here. Yeah, 2 runs in that top of the first for LSU, and I think, I may be wrong here, but I think they were both unearned because Ole Miss was kicking the ball around in that top of the first. It's kind of a tough start, and look, that's the difference in the game. You know, when you look up at the end of it and it was 5-4. Now, the other part of it is Marceau pitched for LSU, and, you know, he's been their most consistent and certainly most healthy, but been their most consistent guy this year. And it was a winnable game for Ole Miss, but they couldn't put it off. And it's a big win for LSU because now they have a chance to go win a series on the road at a place like Ole Miss, who's a top 15-ish RPI team. And LSU, because of where they are this year, they've really struggled. They are in scratch and claw mode to, you know, make sure that they get into the SEC tournament and to improve their chances of being in the NCAA tournament, you know, if they can. And they are in survival mode, nose above water mode right now at LSU. So that was a huge win for them last night. But in the loss, Derek Diamond for Ole Miss goes 6 innings, 3 runs, only one of those runs earned on 4 hits, and he struck out 4 of the 25 batters that he faced. He got 10 fly ball outs through 95 pitches, and 70 of those were strikes. So, even though it was a loss, if there's anything positive, I think, to come out of that, it had to be his start on the mound, didn't it? Yeah, because, I mean, it's certainly not the 3 errors that you made. Am I reading this right, that Ole Miss left 14 guys on base last night? I got the stats pulled up right here. Left on base, 13. Ole Miss left 13 guys on base. Good gracious alive. Let's see here. Yeah, and they couldn't get the clutch. It's just like last weekend. They didn't hit the ball well with 2 outs. They were sub 200 with runners on base. That would, you know, be part of leaving 13 guys on base. And with runners in scoring position last night, Ole Miss was 1 of 9. You know, and consequently, you switch it over there, LSU much better in those clutch situations. With 2 outs, LSU last night was a 286 team, 4 for 14. With runners on base last night, LSU was a 316 team, 6 of 19. Runners in scoring position, they were a 231 team, 3 of 13. So they were more clutch last night. And here today, Nikhazy on the mound, and I'm sure LSU folks are thinking, boy, it's a good thing we won last night because we probably ain't winning today. You never know, but Nikhazy has just been lights out, been that good. You know, the other key thing in that game last night, for anybody who watched, and Kobe and Jay, I'm coming to your texts. The other thing for people who watched that game last night, remember LSU had a chance to stretch that lead late in the ballgame. Was it the top of the 6th? I believe it was the top of the 6th. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. Okay? Bases loaded with 1 out, and the guy on first base for LSU of the 3 runners was Mike Bianco's son, Drew Bianco. Well, there's a ball hit into the gap, deep into the gap in right center field. It's like it may go out. Well, it doesn't go out. It goes to the warning track. The center fielder and the right fielder for Ole Miss collide. Bam! Trying to make the play. The center fielder catches the ball in spite of like they tackled each other out there on a warning track. And the right fielder, Leatherwood, who hit a home run earlier in the game, had 3 home runs at State, had to leave the game. He was banged up. It was a heck of a collision. But the center fielder jumps up with a baseball. Everybody's tagging up. Bases are loaded, right? Everybody's tagging up, including the runner on third base is tagging up to score. It's just a second out of the inning. Well, Drew Bianco, the runner at first base, thinks he's going to tag up from first and go to second. and they threw him out. Do I have the right play? Oh, shoot, I got it mixed up. It was top 7. Okay, it was the top of the 7th. So it wasn't the bang-bang play on the warning track then. It was Plumlee. That's who it was. It was the top of the 7th, bases loaded, and it was Plumlee out there in right field. Runner at third is tagging to score. When he caught the ball, it was a second out. Runner at third's tagging to score, give him an insurance run. But Plumlee fires a strike to second base, and Drew Bianco, trying to tag from first to second, gets thrown out. Like it wasn't even close thrown out. And they tagged him so quickly, he's out at second base for the third out before the runner stepped on the plate at home, so the run didn't count. Like disaster scenario for LSU. And, somehow they hang on and still win the game. But when that happened, you thought, this is going Ole Miss's way. But it didn't. LSU was able to get the outs. Let me let you hear real quick, and then I'm coming to your text. This was Mike Bianco after the game talking about Gunnar Hoagland, their ace, former first rounder. He's been really good this year. And what happened that led to him not being able to pitch last night for Ole Miss?
And more in the bicep area, just one of those things where he felt, the way we approached the week, and really the way he wanted to, was to throw. So at some point you got to have one less day, and so he wanted one less day before he threw his bullpen, which is normal for him when he's on short rest. And so we took the bullpen a day earlier. He threw on Monday, actually threw well, didn't throw a lot. Was shorting the pen up a little bit. And felt good the next day, and yesterday he was just stiff, and he normally isn't like that. And today it was the same thing, and so on short rest, and him not feeling 100%, just felt that it was not smart to throw him out there today.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is there any long-term concern there, or do you just think it's a one weekend thing?
I just I would think there's a chance he could throw tomorrow or the next day. We don't know that yet. We'll just take it each one day at a time. But no, we don't have a concern that it's a lingering thing or something serious.
And that's good news for Ole Miss. Not something lingering, not something serious. Just got to get him ready to go for the postseason. And you think about it, Nikhazy went through the same thing early in the year. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Nikhazy injury early in the year, it was a pectoral thing that he had to just rest it, and now he's fine, obviously. But he missed a couple of starts, maybe one for sure, maybe two. And that Doug Nikhazy injury is what opened the door for Hoagland, who was going to be the number 2 starter the Saturday, to move up and become the Friday night guy. So they've dealt with this twice now with their 2 best pitchers this year, and that is missing at least one start to some little thing that they don't think is going to be long-term and serious. And then on top of that, you go Elko. They're playing without Elko, who's not back, which leads you to believe maybe that knee injury thing for Elko is a little more serious than they had hoped to begin with. And being a senior, maybe it's just not where he can come back and try to play on it. So their best hitter out with injury. And then they had a bullpen pitcher, an older guy who out with injury. You look at the guy who's playing first base for him now, Baker. He got back from an injury just in time to replace Elko, who got hurt. I'm telling you, man, it's starting to pile up on them a little bit. All right, here we go. Kobe on the Country Pleasing text line says, y'all give a shout out to my alma mater, JSU, and congratulate Coach Johnson on, as he says, slaughtering the SWAC, going undefeated in conference and number 1 in the country in run score. Let me tell you something. They've had a heck of a year. And, there's no question they'll be in somebody's regional. Yep, so hats off, Kobe. They got a good squad, and there's some good hitters. And they steal bases throughout their lineup. They can run, put the bat on the ball, and they made short work of the SWAC. And they're not going to be an easy out in the regional, promise you. Good for them. Glad they got it going. Pat Yeah, okay, thanks. He says it was in the top of the 7th and Drew was trying to help his dad out. Well, I tell you what, he helped him out for sure. Kept him in the ball game, right? Because if that doesn't happen, you got a 2-run ball game at least, and they're sitting there with a chance to put up more runs with 2 outs. And like you said, they had a night where they were hitting the ball pretty well with 2 outs. So it really kept the game within reach for Ole Miss right there. Coffee Norman texted the show, and he said, Matt, did I see Georgia projected as a super regional site and a national seed by D1 Baseball? Maybe I dreamed that. Seems a reach, or is their resume that good? I'll have to look at it real quick. I can pull it up for you. I glanced over it when they did their regional projections the other day, and honestly, it was like right before the show. And what I did, Norman, is I just like skimmed through the host sites real quick. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as crazy. All right, right now they are projecting as host sites. No, Georgia is not one of them. They got Arkansas, Stanford. These are the 16 host sites, what they project D1 baseball. Arkansas, Stanford, Vandy, Louisville, South Carolina, TCU, Mississippi State, Arizona, Louisiana Tech, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, East Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. Okay, that's what they project right now. They've got Southern Miss in the Oxford Regional. This is a projection is all it is. They got Southern Miss in the Oxford Regional. And let's see, they have Jackson State in the Starkville Regional. So again, just a projection. But you're right. I mean, Coffee Norman, these guys, they usually got a little intel. They know how to read this stuff. The last 5 teams in, Alabama, Baylor, Tulane, San Diego, and ULL, and Kentucky's in a group of the first 5 out, according to these projections. So there you go. Y'all stick around because we are just getting started with you on this Friday show. We got games to preview. Let you hear what Lamona said about Vanderbilt. More of your texts, including Jay and Nick and Squez and Grumpy and all y'all coming up. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max. Got it at C Spire. Went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi. And that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and delicious.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Now, if you know your oats and want to feel your oats,
Brace yourself. Now back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
All right, I'd love to hear from you today on this Friday. Y'all give me a call on the Davini phone. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. Still April, which is tractor month. Big time deals, by the way, on all their tractor packages, especially those Kubotas, which I highly recommend. Check them out. Davini Equipment. You can go up to Davini on Highway 51 in Madison or on Spring Ridge Road in Jackson and access all of that right there. So call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059, 601 number, 995-1059. Love to hear your voice. Or you can text me like these fine folks have done here on the Country Pleasing text line, 885-ESPN, 885-ESPN. Jay, my man Jay up in Baltimore says, man, I watched the Ole Miss LSU game last night and loved watching Coach Bianco calling pitches against his son. Yeah, and his first at bat, they struck him out swinging with that high fastball up in his eyes, right? Get 2 strikes, and then he buzzed the tower up there, and he went after it and couldn't catch up. Jay, you said, I just wonder how challenging it was to call the high heater on the strikeout in the second inning. Question of the day. Who do you think Mama Bianco was rooting for? Oh, boy. I guarantee you she was rooting for the youngin'. Yeah, absolutely. Man, he's a little thicker, and all, but boy, Drew looks just like Coach Bianco, doesn't he? I tell you, man, what was he doing tagging up from first right there, though, in that situation? It really hurt LSU. It kept it at a 1-run ball game where it was even if he just stands on the bag, doesn't even move. It's automatically a 2-run ball game. And the way things were going, that much tougher, especially on the road. It kept trying to tag from first and then getting thrown out so quickly that the guy from third didn't have a chance to score before the out was made. That was a tough deal. Great throw by Plumlee. Jay, you said Plumlee can't throw a football to save his life, but what a rope on that play to gun down Drew Bianco. I would look, he throws it better than people think. He throws the football better than people think. Is he what you would say is like an SEC quarterback as a passer? Well, no. But can he throw it? Sure. He's He's an outfielder in SEC baseball. Okay, he can throw the ball. Nick says, on no level of baseball do you tag from first on a fly ball to right field. One of the dumbest base running decisions I've ever seen. Bill, that's what you were thinking, isn't it?
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, and I was too. And the only thing I could think is just, okay, so the bases loaded situation, 1 out. I'm trying to think here. Bases loaded, 1 out. The only thing I could possibly think of is he's betting. Now, I'm not disagreeing at all. You're right. On no level of baseball are you supposed to be tagging from first base on a fly ball to right field. But he's just thinking, what? They're going to he's going to throw this thing across the infield, and I don't know what. He's going to throw it to third base, so I'm going to go flying in there to second. It's just it was a terrible error. And then after that, they actually reviewed it to see if the runner had stepped on the plate for LSU before the tag was made at second. So they had this review which showed, no, they tagged him first, so it was out 3 before the run scored. And then after the review, Paul Maneri came out and argued a little bit with the umpire. Now, we couldn't read lips. He's wearing a mask. I say argued. They had words, which I don't think you're supposed to do after a review. But regardless. Grumpy says, on the text line, Matt, so disappointing. Diamond was good enough. Plumlee made an awesome throw. No clutch hits. Elko was missed big time. So many left on base. And then, the host, are you saying me, the host, stole my thunder? Those are going to be your points, and those are the points I made? Or was somebody else make those points? Somebody did. I know we talked about it because you can look at the numbers. Same thing last week for Ole Miss. State was so much better with runners on base and in scoring position, third base with less than 2 outs, advanced opportunities. State was so much better at the plate in those 2 wins than Ole Miss was. Ole Miss missing some clutch factor right now. They're still getting big hits. Gonzalez had the home run last night. Graham had the early home run last night. Leatherwood, didn't he have one last night? Did I just say that? They hit 3 home runs last night. I'll look it up here. But I know that Leatherwood hit 3 last weekend, and there were some others. McCants hit 1 last weekend against State. Yeah, they hit 3 home runs last night. Yeah, Leatherwood had another one before he had to leave the ball game. So they're getting some big hits. They're just not getting hits at the right time where there's runners on base and with 2 outs and to string along some big innings here. And I say that, they put up 9 runs against State last Saturday. We're talking about in 3 of the last 4 they haven't had those. Pat sent me a link. Pat says, Matt, I'm not sure if you covered this yet or not, but thought it was interesting. LSU has hired Mississippi State recruiting specialist Mason Smith. Okay, I saw a tweet about that. This is football, by the way. And I think it said that Mason Smith is an LSU grad. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense. And also, State just recently went out and hired some guy from Michigan who I haven't met yet or don't know yet. They hired some guy from Michigan to come in who was like Michigan's coordinator of recruiting or something like that. And he's coming to State to do that job. Little switcheroo going on. Jay in Baltimore said, one last comment on the Rebels. Jay says, there's already justifiable concern with their pitching middle relief, but now you have to question their closer. Yep, you do. Broadway gave up the huge hit to Tanner Allen last week. Last night he gave up 2 runs on 7 hits in 3 innings. I don't care how good your starters are, you better have some guys who can close games. Yeah, no question. And, it could just be sometimes you have a bad day or two. Anybody, I guess, is capable of that. It could be, too, that maybe something's a little different. Maybe he's pitching through stiffness, the spin rate isn't there, and therefore the ball gets hit. There's all kinds of stuff that are possibilities. But, yes, Jay, you do have to kind of bring that stuff into question because all of a sudden he hasn't been as effective his last 2 times out as he had been pretty much all year leading up to that. The Pirate is on YouTube and says, Matt, do you like Jack Abraham or Will Rogers? better in the quarterback competition at state? Could you see a rotating QB the first game against Louisiana Tech? And do you give Will Rogers the start but have a quick hook or vice versa? No, I don't. I don't see a rotation nor a quick hook or anything like that. I really don't. I think what you do is you push them and you push them and you push them and you make practice really hard and challenging and tough, and you're hard on them in scrimmages. You're happy that the competition is hot and heated in summer and in fall. But then, 2 weeks out from the first game, you make a decision. And once you make a decision, that's it. Sorry, moving ahead. You just have to do that. And I've been there on the other side of it as a quarterback, on really all sides of that. I've been on the side of the quarterback battle you didn't win. You have to accept it at the beginning of the year. I've been on the side of the one you did win, where they're telling you, hey, we made the decision. You're the guy. Even if you play poorly, you're still going to play you. You're the QB. We made the decision. We're going with it. Been on that side of it. And I've also been on the other side of being a backup, playing a lot, feeling like maybe I ought to play more. But understanding they made a decision and they're going to roll with it. That's kind of the way it's supposed to work at the quarterback position. It's not a platoon place like others. And I know some coaches over the years have platoon guys at that position and made it work. But it certainly is, here's a word for you, suboptimal. Okay. And I just don't see Leach being the guy that does that. I think they'll evaluate it, whether it's close or not. It can be as close as it wants to be, and at some point they'll decide who the guy is, who won it. And once that person's won it, he's your QB. There's no quick hook. There's no rotating him in and out. And at that point, that guy would really have to play his way out of it. I mean, just look at how they handled Costello last year, right? There was no quick hook there. And frankly, at the rate of the turnovers, it was a situation where you could have maybe even justified having a quicker hook. So I don't think they will. But in terms of who I like better, I don't know. I hadn't seen enough of them. And go watch a few practices and watch two scrimmages and one spring game. I don't know. You don't know objectively who you like better and who you don't. Abraham's not as big as Will Rogers. Rogers taller, longer, better athlete, better runner. Abraham's older. May even get the ball out just a little quicker sometimes. Rogers will do a better job extending when he has to, and has played in the system a little longer. So they just got to get a much bigger sample size, fall practices, scrimmages, all that, and then see just which guy can get them up and down the field more often. And then whoever that is, you name that guy the starter and you roll with it. Because you got to remember, I mean, if Rogers doesn't win the job and they play Abraham's got a free year left. He's a super senior. Rogers is technically still a freshman. He will be technically a freshman this year, even though he played all those games last year, because last year didn't count against anybody. So, if Abraham were to go win the job, it's not like Will Rogers is out anything. So it's a pretty good spot for them to be in, I think. Hope I answered your question, Pirate. Gave you as honest a answer as I could. J-Rock and Pat coming to y'all. Somebody on YouTube is named themselves Walt Longmire. Sheriff Longmire, it's a real pleasure. I'm a big fan. Y'all stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Arrived today. Jeans do come true. Thank you, Blue Delta. Yeah, jeans do come true. That's what the bag says. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi, my hometown. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase. Again, that's if you listen to me, you can use discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, And at checkout, you're going to get a 10% discount off your order. So I just went online, ordered them, BlueDeltaJeans.com a couple weeks ago. Went in, I didn't go get measured. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are at my doorstep a couple weeks later. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Nice. I'm happy. I've known the Blue Delta team for years, and I'm thrilled to have these guys on as a sponsor of this show. Blue Delta's Virtual Tailor is a fun and easy way to get yourself into the best fitting pair of jeans you're ever going to own. Bet you never thought you'd get a butt shot out of me, huh? How about that? Just answer the questions and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions. It's amazing how they do it. They will fit perfectly. You're not going to find better material and better feeling pants, period, anywhere. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. I promise you that. And I know that you are going to love them too. Make sure you use the code. And remember, jeans do come true.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Let me tell you about an ice cream can't be beat.
The very best tasting you can eat.
It's Meadow, 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 Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. Go to your ice cream man today and here's the word that you should say. Oh, give me Meadow, Meadow, Meadow Smooth Freeze Meadow Gold. And remember, folks, Meadow Gold
is mighty good.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beechnut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beechnut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
6 o'clock, dinner time. Thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding.
Yes, thank goodness for Jell-O Instant Pudding. The terrific busy day dessert you can make at the very last minute. See how quick and easy. Just add it to cold milk and beat it up. That's all. By the time you're ready to eat it, it's all ready for you. Jell-O Instant Pudding, made by the famous Jell-O folks. So creamy, so nourishing, so delicious. No other instant pudding is quite the same. Stock your shelves with all 7 flavors. The good busy day dessert. Jell-O Instant Pudding.
On the Matt Wyatt Show.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we are, right here on the Matt Wyatt Show in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. Not going to go into a whole lot of details, but did get a new car, which required getting it hooked up with our insurance, right? We have our auto insurance, everything, in fact, with Farm Bureau Insurance. And it's just so easy when, like I said, okay, and it's this way in all 82 counties in Mississippi. Like my agent, my Farm Bureau insurance agent, we've kind of gotten to know each other personally. He's just a good old guy, right? Like Adam Watson. We have our cell phone numbers. If I need him, I call him. Sometimes he calls me and just says, hey, or whatever, or has a question about something. But in times like this, so it's getting, one car off the insurance, get one car on. I just text him at like 7:30 in the morning and said, hey, here's the deal. What do you need from me? He texts me back right away. I'm sure he's sitting there drinking his coffee, at the kitchen table or something. Here's what I need, text me the VIN number and all this kind of stuff. And we get it exchanged via text. And he's like, I got you squared away. Done. He's like, how your mama and them? That's the way it is with Farm Bureau. And it's really the way it should be. So it's one of the many reasons I recommend them. I told you on YouTube, we got a comment here from someone named Walt Longmire. The profile picture is of Sheriff Longmire from the outstanding drama series Longmire. If any of y'all don't know what it is, look it up and thank me later. We need more seasons of Longmire, don't we? I wasn't too happy with the way they ended it. Did you watch it, Bill? Did you see Longmire?
I used to watch it when it was on another channel. I
Yeah.
don't get it now. But
Yeah.
it was a great show.
I loved it.
Really, really good show.
You know, I loved it. It was one of those. I have not had many of these, but it's one of a couple of things I found when it went to Netflix, I guess, and I binge watched it. Longmire, and the other one was called Hell on Wheels, and it was about
The railroad.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, that's really good.
Transcontinental Railroad post Civil War. It had a Mississippi tie in there in that.
Yeah,
and-
the guy that was the star was from Mississippi.
Yeah, it's from Meridian or whatever.
Yeah,
It went back
Meridian,
to Meridian. So I got in on that and binge watched it. But yeah, well, Longmire, gosh, and Longmire is one of those, like, it's been long enough now since I binge watched it. I could probably go back and binge it again, and it's that good. So anyway, we got Sheriff Longmire here commenting on the show. We've reached the big time. It says, do you think the split up of the offensive line during the spring game was a disadvantage to Will Rogers' production? Yeah, I mean, I do. It was probably a disadvantage to really everybody in terms of continuity, okay, and the sharpness and the cleanness, sharpness that both units were operating with. And defense is a little different. They're used to playing with each other a little more. Offensively, when you practice, there's generally a little less shuffling in and out on the units, right? Like, you got a number one offensive line. They generally practice together most of the time. And that's what you're pointing to. And I think when you split them up and we go 2 guys over here, 2 guys over there, and we're going to mix and match, it can absolutely put a dent in your continuity. And it can have an effect. But having said that, it's still, at times it maybe looked a little sloppy, but then you look up at the end of it and numbers were good. They both had some explosive plays. And I think it was fine. Just a spring game, usually go vanilla on that stuff too. And then speaking of, though, Junior on Facebook said that he thought Daniel Greek looked good too. Freshman signee who's gotten in early. He said, don't count Sawyer Robertson out yet. And I think that's true. You just look at Leach's track record. Quarterback, you got to go out and you kind of win the job all over again once fall practice starts. Got to go win it. And frankly, if somebody out of nowhere comes in there and is better, he'll just play that guy. He's not beholden to any recruiting ranking or signing class or promises or anything like that. Just we're going to play the best guy. Yeah, and so I think that you have to understand that it's a lot harder for true freshmen to come in at that level and take over. It is very hard to do. It's pretty rare, but it can happen. Anything can happen. Another football thought here from the Pirate on YouTube. Pirate says, where would you rank State's quarterback room among the SEC? He says he passed through Baton Rouge and was listening to Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 there in Baton Rouge, said that LSU had the best quarterback room in the SEC. And my thoughts on that. Yeah, they're pretty close. Yeah, I mean, if not the tops. I don't know who else is at Georgia along with JT Daniels. I think JT Daniels may be tops in the league. Not a lot of people talking about it, but I think he's big time. I really do. I think he's big time. So I don't know who else is over there. Alabama's going to play a freshman technically, right, in Bryce Young. Super uber talented. Not a big guy, but uber talented. Like a right-handed Tua. That's what he looked like in his high school tape anyway. And their room will be good. But when you look at LSU, yeah, everybody there. You got Finley, who's 6'6", started when Miles Brennan got hurt, looked good against South Carolina, and then, teams started to pick on him a little bit and got him into some trouble and eventually played himself off the field. Auburn locked him down. And then they go to Max Johnson. Johnson, of course, leads them to the win at Florida on the road. Left-handed quarterback, throws with great touch, can make all the throws. Really did look like a winner. I mean, he looked good to me. Played really well. But you compare that to, look, I know they weren't winning, and they're coming off a national championship year, so it was sort of disappointment. But prior to his injury, Miles Brennan was lighting everybody up. There was a negative connotation on all of it, just, again, because the team wasn't good. And the defense was giving up points, and so the wins weren't there. And, there was some pressure on him. He's getting hit a little bit, but go back and look. I mean, I think in just a few ball games, Miles Brennan's numbers, yards, touchdowns, far and away better than those other two guys once they started playing. And, so, yeah, I think to be fair, they probably do. They probably do have the best, if not one of the best, for sure, quarterback rooms in the SEC, no doubt. Okay, Country Please and text line. I promise you, we'll hear, when we come back to start hour 2, I'll let you hear some of that media Q&A yesterday with Chris Lemonis. A couple of key comments and kind of his insight into his thoughts in this series going in to game 1 tonight at Vanderbilt. I'll give you that coming up. J-Rock texted the show, and he said Drew Bianco should have tagged it first if they went to the plate, and then you can move up to second base. Yeah, so tag on the throw with foot on the bag so that you can go, if you want to go, but watch the throw is what you're saying. An automatic tag up from first to second just doesn't. You're right, J-Rock. It's kind of a brain. It can't figure it out. Maneri arguing that after they reviewed it with the umpires. Pat says, I believe Maneri was arguing that the second baseman missed the original tag and therefore the runner at third scored before Bianco slid past the base and was then tagged. Yeah. And, when they were reviewing that, Pat, obviously the ball was there in time to tag him before the runner scored. The tag attempt was obviously made prior to the runner scoring. Then it's just a judgment call. Did he actually tag him or not? And I don't know if they had I was listening on the radio, so I don't know if they had a clear view on replay of whether the tag was placed on him or not. And so I guess if the umpire at second base called him out initially and they don't have some clear view of it to do otherwise, then they assume they tagged him. Gator Nation popped in here. How about this? Gator Nation popped in here on the Country Pleasing text line. He says, who do you think is the best pitcher today? I still say Kershaw. Why won't managers let pitchers complete games? Let players, let's see, the game is supposed to be about advancing the runner, not just hit home runs. We have an event for that. It's called the Home Run Derby. Thanks for your Major League Baseball thoughts today. TB12 GOAT sign out there from Gator Nation as expected. Spence in Brookhaven says, Matt, I just finished season 6, the last season of Longmire. I totally agree with you about the series. We need more. Hated the ending, but love this show. I'm telling you, Spence, when I got through watching all of it, I was so disappointed. And I'm sure that's the way everybody is when they get through binge watching something they really like. It's over. You're like, oh, no, it's over. I'm sure it's that way for everybody. But I got into it. And then it ended, and I won't spoil it. I didn't necessarily like the way it ended. Great music, great scenery, great stories, great characters. Lou Diamond Phillips is in it, for Pete's sake. All right? And this guy Longmire, he's an Australian. What's his real name? Robert what? Robert something. The actor. Yeah, he's Australian, so that, Midwestern accent, that's all an act. Pretty good, isn't it, Spence? All right, as promised, hour 2 coming up. We'll hear what Lemonis said in preview of Vanderbilt. Hog Jowls with me on the text line. I'll get to that and more. Y'all stick around in the Bureau. We'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
We are about to have a fire and cook some sausage. A country pleasing sausage is outstanding. Whether you cook it over a fire or in the house, cook some of this right here. It's green onion flavor, you see that? But this right here is my favorite, the maple flavor. And this is great for breakfast. It's awesome cooking it in the house because it makes the whole house smell good. Oh yeah. Let's eat country pleasing sausage, the best, hands down. If you go to countrypleasing.com, you can actually order this and deliver it to your house. Country pleasing sausage, hands down, the best. Trust me. Davini Equipment, Spring Ridge Road in Jackson, Highway 51 in Madison. Hey y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit, design a jean, and before you know it, you'll be addicted. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt, all lowercase, BlueDeltaJeans.com. I just entered, what I knew about myself. I just answered the questions, and here they are. Nice. Yeah, Blue Delta. Just answered the questions, and they fit absolutely perfectly. They couldn't fit better. So just go online, BlueDeltaJeans.com, answer the questions, use this code. Use the code, you're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, and I know that you are going to love them too.
nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Becoming a professional race car driver takes time. Quitting smoking does too. It's not about stopping in one day. It's about starting with day one. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking at cancer.org/smokeout.
WRKS Pickett's Jackson.
Time, John.
It's time to get back to the Matt Wyatt Show.
Live in the studio.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
All right, here we go. Let's get hour number 2 of this show underway. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Like to hear your voice. Call me on the Davini phone. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. They are your Kubota dealer. Those big, beautiful orange tractors. Check them out at Davini. Call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059, 601 number, 995-1059. And text me on the Country Pleasing text line, Country Pleasing Sausage, on grocery stores around the Southeast. It's 885-ESPN. It's easy to remember, right? So text away, 601-885-ESPN. I'll let you hear from Coach Lamona's coming up. He had a Q&A with reporters yesterday. Previewing Vanderbilt, said some interesting stuff, and I'll let you hear that coming up. Hogjowl, though, he texted the show at the end of the first hour, said, Matt, I was, or at least I thought, I was a stud in baseball. I was a catcher, had a good arm, some pop at the plate. Hogjowl says, I was a walk-on in college. Quickly found out I was not a stud. Ended up being a great bullpen catcher. Very seldom played. If you are a starter in college sports, you are a stud. The difference in major college and high school is daylight and dark. Point is, if you win a starting position in major college, you are a real player. Yeah, there's a gap there, isn't it? I mean, it really is, Hogjowl. And it could be some of it's God-given ability and strength and size and speed, and some of it is skill that some guys just develop it, over the years better than others. And it's just the way life is. It's like almost no matter who you are, you don't have to go too far and find somebody who can do it better than you. But that's in reference earlier to the idea of, Plumlee out in right field. He had a great throw last night on the runner, Drew Bianco, trying to tag from first to go to second on the fly ball, bases loaded, 1 out. We were questioning the decision, first of all, but then the throw and then somebody texted and said, well, he can't throw a football to save his life. Yeah, but, that's not entirely true. Again, if especially as a freshman, if you're taking snaps at quarterback in the SEC, even if we go, well, it's necessity, well, they're not going to put you out there if they didn't think you could maybe do it. And the idea that you couldn't. And I will say you're right, Hogjowl, and it's not taking a shot. I just think it's recognizing what the truth is. There are a lot of people out there who, they did play high school or, some level of it. And there's just a certain, I don't know how else to describe it than this, Hogjowl. There's a certain personality type or personality characteristic of some people that doesn't allow them to comprehend the difference between their high school career, which was, maybe mediocre, and how good the guys at the college level are. And I've run across those. I've had guys, I've heard it. Guys that, barely, sniffed the depth chart and played a few snaps or whatever in high school, but will tell you that they coulda, shoulda, woulda, and just don't understand the gap between what those guys are doing on the field at the major college level versus what they did or didn't do in high school. And, some people just they can't get it for whatever reason. There's a mental block. They cannot grasp it. You could even show them and they still don't understand it. You're not that way. It's different. When I was in college, I was playing intramural basketball, and one of my football teammates, our receiver, he was younger than I was older than him, Justin Jenkins. You all know Justin in the Jackson area. I went to Pearl, played in the NFL, was a leading receiver on the state teams when Kevin Fant was a quarterback, and Justin, a phenomenal athlete. Now, he stands in there probably, about 6'1", something like that. And a young Justin Jenkins was on our opponent one night on the intramural basketball game. And, I mean, we thought we were good, had a good team. Well, Justin Jenkins, he dunked on us a couple of times. Yeah, 6'1". He shot, I bet he scored 35 points. Easy. Like, anytime he wanted to rise up and hit a three, he did it. There's nothing anybody could do. He was that good. Ball handler, he was so much better than everybody on the floor playing basketball. I was so impressed with him, And I've been at practice with him every day. He's just buried on the depth chart as a freshman or whatever. And now he's just schooling everybody on the basketball court. Well, a couple days later, or I say days, it was at some point I was in the training room over at the football facility, and I was talking to our head trainer, a guy named Paul Mock. And I said, Paul, man, Justin is so good at basketball. He's like, really? I'm like, yes, I'm telling you, Paul. I'm telling you. He could go out there and play on our basketball team at Mississippi State right now. He could do it. And Paul Mock looked at me and said, Matt, no, he couldn't. I said, yes, he could. He said, I think you might be underestimating just how good those guys are on the basketball team. And you know what? He was right. He was right. How good those guys are that are playing. I remember one day there was a guy named, you remember a point guard at Mississippi State back in those days, maybe late 90s, I guess about that time, named Trey Moore. Y'all remember Trey? You'd watch any basketball game that he's playing, he's a point guard. He looks small out there compared to everybody else, right? Well, he walked in the intramural gym one day, and I'm like, he's tall as me. That dude's 6'4", 6'5". He's a point guard. He's the smallest guy on the floor when he's out there. He comes in here to the intramural gym, he's the biggest guy on the floor. Whole different level of what's going on at that high college level, those skilled athletes and those sports that they have been trained and specialized in. Those guys running around on that baseball field tonight in Nashville. Hey, no illusions, y'all. No illusions. Stop it. Me and you and all of us. Okay, now, like Jake Mangum, if you're listening, okay, that's different. Jay Powell, if you're listening, different. I get it. But the rest of us, don't watch that game tonight and start daydreaming back to your high school days and imagining, yeah, I could do that. I could step in there and hit the ball like Tanner Allen. No, you couldn't. I could get on the mound and throw 90. Nope. Might once throw your guts out, throw your arm out. This dude's out here just taking a deep breath and throwing 96. They're on a different level. So let's just stop all the illusions right here. Got it? Got it. Let's go to the phone line. Davini Equipment phone line. Henry hanging on line 1. What's up, Henry?
Matty boy, what's the word on Jaden Wally?
Okay, the word on him is that he had a strained MCL, that it would take him about 4 weeks to get it back 100%. No major damage. He's good to go. What a blessing that is for Mississippi State football.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's good news. It looked terrible. Lord have mercy. In the middle of the spring game, your best offensive player has to be helped off the field. You're thinking, oh, no. But they got a good, as good as possible. I mean, a strained MCL is awful. It hurts. Okay, but it's not going to end anybody's season and he'll be back to normal in a month. So that's the good news. Thanks for the call, Henry. Wally texted the show and said, I played JUCO football and I was a long way from SEC talent. Hey, but congrats to you, though. You got a couple of years of school paid for. Did you play after that? Okay, look, I'm not going on the scholarship rant. I promise. It's not, y'all are tired of it. It's not time and place. But think about this. If you love football, I kind of got my hand up right here a little bit. But if you love football and you decide that's your sport and you really get after it and you stay out of trouble and you make good grades and you work hard and play and make some plays in high school, you don't even have to be great. And you can get your entire college education paid for. You don't have to go to an SEC school. You can get a full scholarship to a great school like MC. Full scholarship, they pay for it. Do they? Are they Division III? Okay, well, let's do another example. You can go to Louisiana Monroe, play 4 years at La Monroe, get a heck of an education, get your BS degree, get your master's. Paid for, full scholarship, all of it. Because it's a head count sport. Rebel Greg texted the show and said Justin Jenkins played quarterback at Pearl. Had he played under Mullen and the spread offense, he would have put up Dak-like numbers. No, let me tell you something, Greg. You know who would have put up Dak-like numbers or more? Who was the quarterback from Noxubee County that went to Mississippi State, and then they made a receiver and punt returner out of him? Omar Connor. Do I have the right name? Yep, Omar Connor. Y'all, talk to anybody that saw Omar Connor play quarterback in high school at Noxubee County and watch what they tell you. What that dude would have done in the spread option offense under a guy like Dan Mullen. It's a dadgum shame he was born when he was born. If he'd been born, 3 years later? He was just born slightly too early? Brother, I'm telling you. Of course, his numbers in high school were ridiculous. Here's another one. People who saw Michael Spurlock play in high school. And, of course, he was the kind of athlete that not only played quarterback at Ole Miss in a pro-style deal post-Eli and actually goes to the NFL, and he's like a kick returner. Okay, that's the kind of athlete that dude was. People that saw him play in high school, can you imagine if Michael Spurlock had the opportunity to play in a spread zone read option offense? Yes. So we get on this from time to time, but I'm telling you, there's a bunch of woulda, coulda, shouldas out there just been born at a little bit of different time, maybe. Yeah. Mansplain said Omar Connor would have won the Heisman under Mullen. Anthony said the same thing. Spence, what did Spence say right here? He was a beast at Noxubee High. Doggone said Sleepy. Yeah, Sleepy. In a spread option deal. Plump. All those guys. They were doing some option stuff. It's just different. It's under center. Talk to John Bond one of these days and get him to his funny way of describing the difference between the kind of option offense he played in versus other guys. I've described it this way. The kind of option offense that John Bond played in, he's under center, right? So he's under center taking a snap directly from center. 2 feet away to his right is a defensive tackle in a 3 technique. Pawing the ground, smoke coming out of his nose like a bull, Okay, and we're not going to block him. What? Right, we're not blocking him. You're not blocking him? No, John, you're going to read him. Read what? I can't read him because there's too much smoke coming out of his nose right now. I mean, seriously. We're not going to block him. You're going to seat the ball in the belly of the running back. And then, if he steps outside, you give. If he steps down and kills your running back, then you pull it and run. Okay, got it. But now we're in the shotgun. We're 5 yards deep. Just snap it to me back here. I'm going to go and I'm going to just back here where I am. I'm going to stick the ball out. The running back finds me, seat the ball in his belly, and then I read the defensive ends. Does the defensive end stay where he is? Give. He goes flying out of there. I'll keep it and follow up here behind the guard. It's just, it's a whole different type of option nowadays. Jason in Flagstaff said, what about Alabama's David Palmer under Mullen? I mean, that kind of player really would have been great. But, hey, we can't control what era we play in, can we? No, sir. Okay, here's the promise. I'm going to make good on it now. State versus Vanderbilt, game 1 tonight. I believe it's a 7 o'clock first pitch Central Time tonight. And yesterday you had Q&A with media. You're going to hear some Lamonis answers talking about facing them and that just got to go play well.
You have to play really good baseball at their field. And just like always, Vanderbilt's always good. We're going to have to go up there and compete. But it's a very talented team and trying to get over those. It's kind of like Ole Miss a little bit, Hoagland and Nikhazy. You're going in there and you're having to get one of those guys there and hopefully get a good point in the game where you can put some together. Our guys don't look at the media probably a piece of it too much. They're and we've talked about a little bit. We beat opening day Madden, and then we've just had to face so many good arms. Jaden Hill from LSU supposed to be a first rounder, and now Hoagland, Nikhazy, and now it's just part about being in the SEC. These two are obviously very good and have been pitching really well. So it's having a plan, trying to have a real plan of what we're trying to do and trying to get some good swings off, and then you gotta, when the time is right in the game, you got to get the big hit, just like we did on Sunday. I just think our guys got to be ready to go. We talked about yesterday at practice. It may come down to stealing a base. I don't actually mean base stealing. I mean, it may be a ball in the dirt. It may be a hard 2 out of the box. There's not a lot of hits going around. So being able to get that extra base so you don't have to getting 3 hits in an inning against Vanderbilt's tough. That's usually what you need to score a run, or you need an extra base hit. And so for our guys, we steal a base, ball in the dirt, a bunt. No, I'm not against a bunt or a hit and run. There's a lot of swing and miss in there. So that's why the hit and run gets tough with them. But we could bunt. I mean, I foresee us having some close games there this weekend. So us fighting for that extra base may be what we have to do a little bit more.
I thought that was really interesting. Q&A with reporters yesterday. Their pitchers, he talked about, the 1-2 and all the attention that they get with Rocker and then facing Leiter in the second one. And, he compared it directly. You heard him. He compared it directly to facing Hoagland and then the Casey 1-2 for Ole Miss. And it comes down to, against guys like that, clutch hitting at the right time, because he says he's going math in his head, right? He goes, normally 3 base hits, that's what you're going to need in an inning to score or to get that extra base hit. Well, it's hard to get 3 hits in an inning against either of those guys. So you just got to play solid everywhere else and keep that game close and figure out a way to win a 1-run game. Keep it competitive and win a low-scoring game. At least that's your thinking going in to impress upon the team how important all the little things are going to be. As he said at the end, be aggressive and go get that extra base when you can. Ball kicks away, take second base. There may be some aggressiveness built into the effort this weekend of State when they do get on the base paths. Beyond just, you take a walk and we're looking to steal second base. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. Junior on Facebook says, I think we hit the fastball better than the curveball. Boy, I would say so too. After watching everybody struggle with Nikhazy last week, Junior also said we could surprise people tonight. Very good at hitting the fastball. We just don't hit curveball very well. And then small ball. He got that question, I think it was Joel Coleman said, I don't really know how to ask this, but there are coaches who do small ball a lot more than you. And there was a chuckle in the room right there. But maybe you have to do some of those things. Spence says, Matt, is it just me or is Logan Tanner possibly the best or one of the best catchers ever to put on an MSU uniform? I've watched state baseball for 30 years, and I just can't remember a catcher with his skills. Honestly, I think he'll be a first-rounder one of these days. That's from Spence in Brookhaven. Yeah, I mean, he's just getting started, right? I mean, made his debut last year in a year that didn't count. So he's technically just getting started, got a long way to go. Certainly uber talented. And I think it's easy for me to say, but I think his approach at the plate is getting better, and it will just continue to get better and better. He's really athletic up there. One thing he does pretty well is hit the ball the other way. The only time he really gets in trouble is when he's not going the other way or willing to, and he'll try to pull that outside pitch. But the reason he's trying to do that sometimes, or he's missing it, it's out, he didn't realize it's out, is because he can pull the ball out of the ballpark. I will say that they got him the other day. What was it, in that Sunday game against Ole Miss, where he hits that line drive. I think he'd already hit one home run, right? And he hits that line drive to the wall in left center. And when it left the bat, he thought it was gone. Like, he was pretty sure I got all of it and it's gone. So he started his trot. Little bat flip, started his trot. And then it rattles the wall. He still got a double out of it because he had to turn it on. But probably learn right there, don't start that trot unless you're absolutely certain that it's leaving the yard. Especially a ball that's hit on that much of a line drive. But, I hear Bart and Charlie a lot of times on those state games talking about Logan Tanner and how, he's an exit velocity guy. He's really tattooing the baseball, and they knew the extra base hits would start to come for him at some point. And they know what they're talking about. And so, yeah, I mean, you pair that with the arm behind home plate. And look, he's going to have a challenge on his hands this week. Everybody who plays Vanderbilt does. They got a freshman center fielder, Enrique Bradfield, who leads the country. Does he lead the country in stolen bases? I think he may do it. I know he leads the SEC in stolen bases, way up there in the double digits. I don't think anybody else has even got double digits yet. So he gets on base. He's going. Let's see that matchup. I started to say, mix a pitch out in there every now and then, but with Tanner behind the plate, you might not feel like you have to. If you got a right-handed hitter, all we got to do is get it up there, and he's got a chance to throw him out. I'm excited to see that matchup also. Let me tell you who else is excited to see it. Scouts. All right, rolling along in hour number 2 on this Friday. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
messages. We'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money. Orchard fresh and...
The Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and worldwide online at The Zone, 1059.com.
All right, back with you. Keep them coming. Comments on the live stream. Get your texts in here. It seems like it was late on yesterday's show when the news of the new overtime rules in college football came out. And so there wasn't a lot of time for me to get your reaction on it. I'm sure you've heard about that. If you didn't, here's the overview. So starting this year in college football, you're going to have, if you go to overtime, the first overtime, you have to go, let's see. No, if you go to 2 overtimes, the second overtime you have to go for 2 after a touchdown. So the first overtime, put it on the 25, it's normal like always. But then once you get to the second overtime, no more extra points. You have to go for 2. If it goes to 3 overtimes, no more placing the ball on 25. We're just going to do alternating 2-point conversion plays. So put the ball on the 2. Here we go. If you score, other team comes out, puts the ball down on the 2, run a 2-point play, alternate those until the game's over. My reaction when I first read it yesterday was like, well, okay, it's all right. It's going to get the game over with a little bit quicker. Strategies will be a little bit different, I would imagine, especially in that second overtime when you're going to go for 2 there, because that's where you're going to use your best 2-point play, right? Everything else just going to be, what are our goal line plays? Just run something. Run slants. Do we complete it? That sort of thing. But I saw a lot of really negative reaction to it as well. So I'm curious what y'all thought about it. Do you like that? Do you have a problem with it? Did you have a big reaction? Some of the stuff I saw on Twitter from beat writers and others, they were really against it, really did not like it at one bit. Because it is true that college football's overtime rules are much better than the NFL's has been. I like it because I'm not sure that there's a reason for anybody to be going for 7 overtimes or anything like that, to be totally honest with you. And get the thing over with. That's kind of what I think. Anyway, just one man's opinion. I'd be curious to know what y'all think. The other thing is there's been all this discussion about this transfer portal, the issues that it is going to cause or could potentially cause. And look, this is the kind of thing that's going to be happening a lot, right? A lot. Transfer portal, not just the portal, but the interconference, a one-time transfer for all that doesn't require you to sit out. So Arkansas apparently has a receiver named Mike Woods who had 32 catches for 619 yards last year and 5 touchdowns. immediately hit the transfer portal, and just like that, now he's going to Oklahoma. So let's be honest. Now, an Arkansas fan would never look at it this way. And I want to be careful because I'm not saying that there's, this huge, humongous gap between Arkansas and Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma's good now. They've been good for a long time. Arkansas has had a dip, but they're still Arkansas, okay? I mean, you can get to the NFL just as well, I wouldn't say easily, but just as well from Arkansas as you can Oklahoma if you're good enough, those kinds of things. However, this is what you're going to see some, and that is a lot of even Division I to Division I, even FBS to FBS, you're going to see players that see an opportunity to sort of trade up. It's the grass is greener effect. I mean, then you're going to see it more, where it may be a school in a Power 5 conference that is median or mid-level, or even in some cases below, and a player on that team, because of coaches he knows from recruiting or players he knows who are at other schools or whatever the case is, maybe even sometimes in an underhanded way under the table with handlers, is going to basically go have a good year at a mid-level school and try to figure out a way to cash that in and go play at least 1 year for some high-profile top 5 school, strictly for the exposure and what that may mean in terms of draft status. Or what it may mean in terms of the offensive system. If you're a receiver, you go play in an offense like Oklahoma, you think you get the ball more, right? Build your reputation. Maybe you don't think you're going to get it as much at Arkansas. So, there. You will see more of this. The way it is. It's just the way it is. Who sang that? Bruce Hornsby and the Range. How about that one, Bill? I pulled that one out of my pocket.
Little Pine Nana music there.
Little Pine Nana. He was really good on the Pine Nana.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Hornsby and the Range. That's just the way it is. Mandolin Rain. The Western Skyline. He had great songs. And had a son who was a guard on the LSU basketball team about 10 years ago. And was pretty doggone good. I forget his first name, though. Ian Rappaport, the NFL Network, says he's pretty sure that he does not expect the Cowboys to trade up from the number 10 spot in the first round. Their love for Florida tight end Kyle Pitts has been noted, though they join a long list, but they aren't expected to come up for him, or for anyone for that matter. They're going to stay right there at 10 and draft somebody, whoever, whenever they're available. Just thought I'd give you that. Cowboys fans out there. Who is it? Chris that listens and calls, a big Cowboys fan. I'm sort of a Cowboys fan just because of Dak. I'm a big Dak fan, right? So whoever Dak's playing for, and I think it's really cool he's with the Cowboys, and they put the Cowboys on TV every week. It's easy to be a Cowboys fan. It's really hard to be an Atlanta Braves fan. The Braves in Major League Baseball just do not care one bit whether I get to watch them or not. That's what I have deduced in this whole thing. It's fine. Maybe I just need to be a Mississippi Braves fan. Get tickets, go to the games. Be done with Atlanta. Matt from Brandon said this one-time transfer deal is going to sort of create a minor league in college football. It's interesting. Yeah, because everybody's going to have people leave, right? And coaches are going to do what they do in recruiting. You know what they do in recruiting is they're always trying to bring in and sign a player who is better than the one that just left. So they're always trying to improve that roster, and that's kind of how you build it up. Go have yourself a good year one of these days. So in the portal as well. If you're Oklahoma and you have a player leave you at receiver in the portal, they're going into the portal, you go get one and bring them in who's better than the one that left. And everybody's going to try to do that. But I don't think there will be any shortage of opportunities in the Power 5 anyway, to go and bring in NFL caliber players. Again, it's like the numbers we gave you earlier this week. It's almost like a math fact, Matt, that there are so many players in the portal, Division I football players in the portal, that they can't possibly all find slots to go land somewhere in Division I. So, coaches' teams are in that portal. They got more than enough to choose from. They're going to find the best one, or at least the best fit. It's really, oh man, I tell you what, our heads are, you think it's crazy now. Let it set in. Let people get used to it. One-time transfer and transfer portal stuff, it's about to go crazy. Our heads are going to be spinning in a couple of years trying to keep up with all of it. That's what I think. And I've heard some really negative stuff. I've heard some really negative stuff. I'm talking about people in the college athletics world say, mark my words, it will ruin college basketball and football. Well, I'm not quite there yet on that, to that level. Is it going to change it? Yeah. Is it going to make, I don't know, is it going to make it harder to really, for a lot of fans to really invest, their heart and soul in these guys and these players and these individuals, getting to know them, pulling for them? Is it going to affect that? I don't know. But it's definitely going to make it different. Like rooting for a pro team. Free agency. I mean, we just got a different word for it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Sven on YouTube, what do you say about the Cowboys? The Cowboys don't draft offensive line or corner. They are dead like a fish without water, and I'm the same as you, Matt. I'm a Dak fan and not a Cowboy. I can't really call myself a Cowboy. I like him now. But I like him because of Dak. I hope they get Surtain, the corner, out of Alabama. That'd be a smart pick. Michael agrees with me on the access to the Braves games. He says he's a Dish Network customer, and it's been beyond frustrating. He's tried YouTube TV, and then they dropped it. Limited options where he lives. I'm just telling you, the Braves and Major League Baseball just don't care about you, the fan, whether or not you get to watch them or not. And frankly, I've been a lifelong Braves fan, and it's just hard to be one now. It really is. I'm just casual baseball fan, turn on the game, see who's on. Beyond that, just get ready to watch a college game. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For double enjoyment, reach for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. It sparkles your smile, your breath, your whole sense of enjoyment. Beech Nut Peppermint in the familiar yellow pack.
Jeans do come true. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world. Let's dive in and see what we have here. Do what I did. Visit BlueDeltaJeans.com. Find your fit. Just for my listeners, enter discount code Matt Wyatt. Just answer the questions. BlueDeltaJeans.com. Answer the questions. Use this code. Use the code. You're going to get a discount. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you a little bit about C Spire. New stuff in 2021, including 5G coverage. If you go to their website right now, cspire.com, you're going to see their no bull, which, by the way, I love the Super Bowl ad with the slow motion bull. You're going to see that on the website. But look, they're right. There's been a lot of bull over the years in your wireless bill, depending on if, who you were with. And my experience with C Spire is just like they say, there's no bull. I know what it's going to cost me each month. I know what my coverage is the number one coverage in Mississippi, period, the number one network. And they've got 5G phones that are 5G ready. Now, I have the new iPhone 12 Pro Max, got it at C Spire, went and did curbside at my local C Spire location and did the exchange where I traded in my old one, got the new one, and it's 5G capable. And we've got 5G coverage in parts of Mississippi, and it's just growing by the day. So you really ought to check that out, okay? And in terms of the new phones, you got deals going on those as well. Find those out at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
A lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. We carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower.
Better buy Bird's Eye. Better buy, better buy, better buy Bird's Eye.
Yes, always look for this Bird's Eye Bird, your guarantee of top quality frozen food. And your big Bird's Eye buy this week is Bird's Eye Orange Juice. Easy, you can serve it in a minute. Thrifty, it will save you money.
Right now! You got the Matt Wyatt Show on 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
All right, we're going to wrap things up with you here in this segment. We'll not have a third hour of the show today. And so this will wrap it up with you here on this Friday. Send you off into the weekend just a little bit early. And you got Jake coming up later. And we'll reconvene on Monday and go over all the gory details of what happened on the weekend. Real quick, though, I did mention Atlanta and the Braves. It's like, I mean, the teams in conjunction with Major League Baseball, they don't have a supply that does meet the demand. And when you think about the fact that the demand for baseball, Major League Baseball, has been evaporating anyway, that they should take care of us who still are fans. In some way, make it easy for me to be a fan and easy for me to watch my team's games. Don't make it hard. They've made it harder, and it's just it's hard to be a fan. So all I hang on to is memories. I don't have a present with the Atlanta Braves. I have a past. Like in 2013, on this day, April 23rd, 2013, when Atlanta teammates Justin and B.J. Upton both hit home runs in a 10-2 win over the Rockies.
And that one hammered down the left field line. Boy, did he wait on that and unload. B.J. Upton with a solo homer, and it's a 4-1 game. Miss it. Now Justin unloads it, and Myers. The brothers go back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back homers for the brothers, the Upton brothers. All right, so it was the 27th time in Major League history that you had brothers that hit home runs in the same ball game. It was only the second time that it ever happened in consecutive at-bats since 1938, when a couple of brothers, Lloyd and Paul Wainer, did it for the Pirates. How about that? So that's even more rare, the fact that it's back-to-back. All right, over to the phone line. Chris hanging on line 1. What's up, Chris?
How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. Thanks for calling.
I didn't really. Well, first things first. I've been meaning to say this every time I call. Where in the world is Chicken Hawk?
Yeah, he called us once last week, maybe. Yeah, so we've heard from him, just not as often.
Lord have mercy. Chris Brooks must have him tied to a post somewhere.
I hope not.
Because I don't listen to Chris's show no more, so I don't ever get to hear Chicken Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the other thing I was going to say is I agree 100% with you about the Major League and these MLB clubs. You know, I mean, we grew up in an era where 4 or 5 nights a week you could sit down and watch the Braves on one channel and flip it right down to the next channel and watch the Cubs if you wanted to.
Yeah, I know. I mean, basically, the way I would, sum it up is one of the reasons that there was such a big fan base for Major League Baseball way back when, quote unquote, is because they made it easy for you to be a fan of your team. Wherever you lived, it was easy to get them. Okay, and I understand the market was different, but now things are different, and they haven't changed with the market. Now they've made it even harder to watch your team play. And if you can't watch them, and I got to be honest with you too, look, this whole idea of you want to do a blackout for reasons of attendance at games, okay? So you want to black out the games in the Atlanta area, go ahead. I live in Tupelo, flipping Mississippi, and you're blacking me out and I can't watch it. What am I supposed to do? Buy season tickets and jump in my car 3 times a week and drive to Atlanta and watch you play? It's the dumbest thing that any major sports league has ever perpetrated on fans from a viewership standpoint. And I've been hanging on because I've loved them my whole life. But guess what? I don't love them anymore. I'm not connected to them anymore. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm fixing to just turn on MLB TV, MLB.TV online, and I don't know, if the Yankees are playing, I'll watch an inning. Maybe the Cardinals, watch an inning or 2 of them, and turn it off. And whenever the college game comes on, that's just what I've done. Thank goodness for college baseball.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Tonight at 6 o'clock, you can watch 2 of the best teams in the nation play.
That's right.
And hey, where is that other series being played? The one that I predicted earlier this week.
Which
one? Is it being played in Baton Rouge or is it in Oxford?
It's in Oxford. Yeah.
Okay, so Ole Miss fans, listen to me. Listen to me good. We may haggle y'all. We may pick on y'all a little bit. But guess what? We don't want y'all jumping off the top of Swayze Field down there, please.
Yeah,
we understand that you lost last night, and y'all are all chewing your fingernails off because of what's going to happen for the rest of the weekend. But just remember, your friendly Mississippi State fan tried to warn you earlier this week what was going to happen. And I hate to say that it's going to happen, but it's going to. Just don't be jumping off the Swayze Field. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate the call. Ryan on line 2. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, good. Well, I hear you talking about like how hard it is to be an Atlanta Braves fan. Try being a Chicago Cubs fan in Mississippi. WGN America used to have, like, when I was little, they used to have a bunch of they used to play a bunch of Cubs games on there. Mm-hmm. Now it's hard to even get the radio on there because, like, sometimes when I go down on the weekends to work on the farm down over in South Mississippi, the only games I can get state games on the on hellstate.com. That's all I can get that, and I can work and listen to that.
Sure.
But I like to work and listen to the radio, and I can't, they don't even play it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and see, listen to this. Okay, so Ryan, here's the thing, though. Living in Mississippi, you're not, again, we talk about making it difficult. You still have to pay like $100 to go get you a year-long subscription to MLB.TV. But the fact you live in Mississippi, you could watch every Cubs game live with a subscription to that if you paid it. You still got to pay it. Here's the thing about being a Braves fan. Because we live in Mississippi, I can go pay $100 at MLB.tv and they black the games out. I can't even watch Braves game live because they black them out. And I live in Mississippi. Look, let me give you a little progression of what I've gone through. I had Dish. Dish gets in a dispute with Fox Sports Regionals, whatever, killed it. Couldn't watch them starting 2 years ago. Then last year's YouTube TV. If you got YouTube TV, you can get Bally Sports. Not anymore. They had a dispute. It ain't on there anymore. Okay, you get Sling. All right, they do Sling TV. You can get all the regional networks. They cut that one out too. Is it on Hulu? Nope. Quite literally, either an obscure cable network or you're forced to go out here and pay an exorbitant amount of money for DirecTV, okay? Or you have to have, what is it, like some stupid, weird thing that nobody even has, nobody even subscribes to, like AT&T TV or something, which nobody has, nobody wants. Anybody who has had it says it's glitchy and it doesn't work, but I supposedly have to have that to watch Braves games. See, and like the Pirate on YouTube said that he gets the Braves games on that Bally Sports channel on Max South. Well, here's the thing. Where do you have to live to get Max South? Because it's not everywhere. It doesn't exist everywhere. I want you to think about something for a minute. Ryan, thanks for your call very much. I want you to think about something for a minute. The Southeastern Conference has done a much better job of distributing its network and its sporting events to its fans across a multi-state region, an entire region of the United States, than Major League Baseball has. It ain't a matter of opinion. It's a cold, hard fact. If y'all can figure it out, let me know. Somebody said, I still to this day find myself flipping to TBS to see if the Braves are on. That's Alex. And then Olivier said, the realization that the team you love doesn't love you back is unsettling, but it's still true. Go Saints, I love you even though I know you don't love me back. Attaboy. Hey, and look at here. We said his name. He's like Beetlejuice. We say his name 3 times and he shows up. Chicken Hawk on line 3. What's up, Hawk?
Hey, man, what's going on, brother? Look here. Hey, Chris, I want you to have a blessed weekend there, brother. Love you, man. And a hashtag Hail State. But let me tell you a little something about them folks up there at the school up north. You know, they have an identity problem. All right, they don't know if they going to be a teddy bear, if they just going to be some kind of bear. They don't know if they're going to be a flathead catfish with ugly teeth, which I think that's what they're going for now, which may help them out. They ain't chewing on no fingernails. They chewing on some doggone wood, some baseball bats, trying to make them where they might be able to hit a ball tonight there. You know what I'm saying? And now look at here, Bobtail. I got something for you. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you know you talking about the beam me up, beam me down, beam me all around Scotty thing that's going on up in the college football world?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, all right. Well,
hey, gotta go quick. Gotta go quick.
It's going to end up just like pro football. You can't sit there and have favorites like you used to back when my fish had Zonka Warfield, Hail State Chiefs.
He out. He got it in. He's right. You just can't have a favorite player anymore. You better not. Might as well just have a favorite school. And the band. You may have new names every week. Next thing you look up, I don't know. That'll wrap it up for today. I appreciate y'all. For Bill, I'm Matt. We'll see you on Monday.
Another load of Smart Pills has been distributed, and I'm slap worn out. So I'll just say, so long, neighbors. Get me out of here, Percy.
Now's the time to get a great deal